And welcome once again to Wyoming Sports Talk today, live streaming on YouTube and Periscope via Twitter. Larry Perotti, along with Nick Perotti. And again, thank you to all our wonderful sponsors. Taco John's of Cheyenne, where at all locations you can use the convenient drive-thru. Key of Cheyenne, go to their website, or you can go on site on Nation Way, where AJ and the crew, they're keeping it all sanitized there. They even got spray for you as well to keep you sanitized as well. Again, they will, if you feel better just doing it online, you can check out the inventory online. Matter of fact, they're going to do something very unique. They're going to do a trade-in, sight unseen. How about that? What they're going to do is they're just going to give you the Kelly Blue Book offering for your vehicle now. So, for more information, get a hold of Key of Cheyenne, 775-0123. We also want to thank Platte Valley Bank ×2 on Vanda High and at the corner of College and Pershing. Again, convenient drive-thrus for you to do your banking. Chick-fil-A at Windmill and Del Range across from Powers Field. And Menards open Monday through Saturday. 2 convenient drive-thrus, again, offering takeout and curbside. And you can use the Chick-fil-A app to pre-order all of your good food. Medicap Pharmacy over on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. You can go inside. You can use the convenient drive-thru. They're there Monday through Saturday. B&B Appliance at Seton TV, 714 Central Avenue. Again, you can go inside at B&B. You could also go inside in the service center. They have a sanitizer there for you as well, too. So, again, check out what Bruce has for you today and the crew over at B&B Appliance and TV. Lennox Auto Body with reduced hours now from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. over at the 1020 Dunn Avenue site. But again, they're still doing the collision repair and they're still doing the painting. You can call 634-6608 for more information. Again, Heather and the great staff invite you to continue to use their services. They've been serving our area for over a quarter century. Again, the Auto Repair Center over on Dunn Avenue and the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday. Call 632-3500 if you need to do some business inside. They will take good care of you over at First Tier Bank. Mondello's Pizzeria right across the street, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D, the Greenway Commons. As I was over there earlier today, again, they're baking them fresh. And again, use the convenient takeout. You can give them a call ahead and do your ordering as well. So again, Joe and the crew taking good care of you with delicious Paisan cuisine. Their pizza ranked in the top 10 nationally by the Food Network, folks. So, again, you definitely want to try Joe's Pizza over at Mondello's Pizzeria. Again, Joe Mondello now working here in Cheyenne on his 5th decade in business. So, congratulations to Joe and the crew over at Mondello's Pizzeria. And it's lack of scoreboard time. It's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. We'll go to Nick and see
there's really nothing because again
no more simulated games or anything. We're all
with the NHL doing that again. A few teams around the league have been simulating games. I've been interested in doing it, but again, we'll see what happens in the future here for 1480 KRAE for Wyoming Sports Talk today. Again, as more and more things get canceled, so again, scoreboard, there's pretty much a lack of it. We'll even talk.
I watched the Giants lose to the Marlins last night in 2003, so
who cares?
You want that score?
NBA's looking to do horse at this point in time. I'm not reporting on scores or winners on that one. Who cares about that? But yeah, no scoreboard for quite some time, or at least potentially until the end of the month of April. We'll see what happens in the month of May. But again, we'll talk more, at least with guests, of potential games that may be covered in May or at least upcoming after the all clear is given at whatever point in time.
Yeah, your guess is good as mine. Again, our lack of scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. We'll be back with our first guest. Matter of fact, we got a trio guest joining us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. He is the skipper of Post 6. We're going to talk with Ty Lain right after this here on KRAE.
If you're looking for fun and style, then the new 2019 Kia Optima has what you need. And here at Kia of Cheyenne, we can help you own one. I'm AJ Miller, and the 2019 Kia Optima will reward your daily drive with comfort, performance, and advanced engineering. Kia Optima technology, your phone allows access to remote lock or unlock, climate control, 24-hour roadside assistance, and much more. Come in, call 775-0123, or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
College has been something that's always been on the back of my mind.
This is where I found what I wanted, one of my passions, what I really love to do.
In class, I feel more engaged.
The people here do care about you, and they want to help you succeed in life.
They make it so easy to be a parent and be able to still go to school.
I like the way I'm improving.
I love being, part of the LCCC family, and I'm glad I made this step in my life.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk today. We do apologize. We're having some internal system problems, not our problem, but we're not going to be able to talk with Lain, skipper of Post 6. We're going to try to get that taken care of at another time. We still have a couple other guests that are going to be, as you say, Skyping with us here in a little bit, Nick.
Can only hope so. Can only hope so at this point in time. For whatever reason, our system that at least does work through the laptop, because, again, due to the fact that we're unable to do any phone calls through 1480 KRAE right now due to the power mishap that we had quite a while ago. As of right now, hopefully we'll be able to catch up with Ty at some point in time. Hopefully we'll be able, again, our Skype interviews have worked fairly well over the past couple of days. So, again, it's all up to this laptop, up to technology, if it'll work well with us as we try to do everything on the fly.
Well, as we left on Tuesday, just a matter of fact, as we got off the air on Tuesday, the edict came down statewide that there was not going to be any spring sports for the school districts here in the state of Wyoming. So again, the drop dead date. Basically, I think really they were looking at, if anything, Nick, they were looking at going back to school on Monday and then possibly getting the chance to get some practices in and do the spring schedule. Obviously now with the governor, again, the governor has three things out. Again, he hasn't got a total shutdown. Schools are closed until April 30th.
Yeah.
Again, your meeting places, gatherings, can't have 10 or more in the gathering. So, again, that is in effect until April 30th. I'm trying to remember what the third thing is. And he's closed some businesses as well. So you look at that situation with the sports for our high school youngsters. Again, more you look towards the class of 2020, those seniors that are looking to go to that next level. Well, they're not going to get that opportunity, and it's a shame that this virus hit at the wrong time. I mean, obviously, class of 2020, you're going to have something to talk about when you go to your reunions. But it is a tragedy in a certain respect because, again, I guess not parents, but both the youngsters as well as the adults enjoy. It's great to get out and watch track and field. It's fun to watch soccer, whether it's softball coming up. It's just nice to get outdoors and watch your children participate. Or if you're just a fan,
you could still get outside and still at least do things, again, not in a large group. Again, we're not, at least as we talk about the rest of the nation being under the stay-at-home orders. Again, Wyoming's one of the few where, hey, you can still go out and kind of live daily life, but again, avoid those large crowds, give that 6 feet spacing rule a go. But again, you can still go fishing, you can still go to the park, still go run, again, I see throughout the Cheyenne where you see a few basketball pickup games, again, not massive, 5-on-5 or whatever, but again, it's still, folks are still making the most of it, still getting outside, still trying to compete, and still trying to find ways to kind of entertain themselves instead of being locked down for, again, hours of the day throughout, almost kind of prison life without a doubt. But right now, again, it's uncharted territory.
Well, you look at these youngsters right now, Nick, and again, you're in that category of being young. I mean, I sit here and look at all of the things that I've had to endure in my lifetime, from youth all the way now to almost being 63 years old. And again, you look at this particular group of young people that are coming through the school system. Most of them weren't even born during 9/11. I mean, this is how long ago that was. That was in 2001. We've had the flus. We've had the bird flus. We've had the swine flu. We've had AIDS back in the 80s. I mean, we've had all of these pandemics that have come our way, and we've found ways to survive and come out of the rubble standing tall.
The only difference is during this pandemic, this global pandemic right now, again, we're in the age of social media where things can go viral, where, again, whether that information that you see on Twitter, Facebook, hell, even on the TV screen right now, where, again, you take it for a grain of salt, whether it is true, whether it is overblown, again, but it is that it's a new time, it's a new era, it's a new, thing that we're going through right now due to the fact that we are so connected as a world where, hey, we can see what was happening out in Wuhan, China, now is happening. You can see what's going on live in New York City. You get those daily updates. You can read accounts of people that, whether they're truthful, whether they're lying, whether they're
the
trying
sad
to do
part,
something.
the truth is there's been more deaths in New York.
Yeah.
Than there were in 9/11. So I mean that's the realization. But also too,
and again, as a viral disease, where again a city that is so tight knit and has, again, the most population in this country, it's the unfortunate thing.
And tied in with New Jersey right next door. So again, you have a population base that is into the millions, and again, there's just nowhere to go, and anybody that breathes on you, boom, you're gonna catch this virus. It seems like, but again, it is a very unique time in the nation's history. The year 2020. Again, nothing has been seen like this since the big flu back in 1917, 1918. So again, the loss of life has been very, very large due to this virus. Again, we can only hope that our medical professionals will be able to come up. Our scientists will be able to come up with that vaccine and arrest this problem. Again, I'm like you, Nick. I'm out, and I'm not saying I'm keeping myself indoors. I got myself a bike yesterday. I want to go riding. I want to play baseball again. I want to see Post 6 play baseball. Yeah. I want to see the Rockies play baseball, the Giants.
Life continues on, but again, it's just altered in different ways, and just it's up to individuals. It's up to whoever out there to make the most of it, or at least be. This is times where you find creative outlets, or you try to be unique, or you try to find ways to kind of look towards the future.
But let's look at the word that's been thrown around as normalcy and normal. We will never be normal again.
No.
I mean, after this, what we can do is restart and recharge, and that's about all we can do. From a business standpoint, we got to restart and recharge. Our lifestyle will have to restart. You have people at home that need to get back to their workplace to restart. Things will not ever be normal again. Same thing for, again, as we look at the cancellation of spring sports. Let's go all the way back to the state championship in basketball.
Yeah.
Again, that will not get restarted. We will never know who was the best in Class 4A or Class 3A. We will never know soccer. We will never know the answers to track and field and swimming and golf. We can go right down the list with all our schools. Again, also, too, I know this is going to take you way back, but, when you and your sister went to Bain, we had all of that little track and field activities going on over at the old Okie Blanchard Stadium. There's so much. It's affecting everybody from grade 1 all the way to our seniors in school.
But all this puts in perspective. Again, it's something where you kind of take time and think about what's going on in the world, where a state title, yes, for those young athletes, for the Cheyenne Central, Cheyenne East of the world, Star Valleys, whoever,
South.
4A, 3A, that were going to compete up there in Casper for a potential state title on both boys and girls side. Spring soccer for girls and boys, track and field, all those athletes that now miss out on that opportunity. But with the situation that is at hand right now for the greater good of kind of the population of the world, in my mind, those championships, those opportunities kind of get a back burner where, what if those athletes have those, grandfathers, grandparents, aunts and uncles, someone with a medical condition, some related, someone that they know could get affected by this situation where it kind of, sports get put on that back burner for a reason during this time. And rightfully so, where again you talk about we see those numbers daily of who's getting affected, but also too again the deaths. Even here in this nation, thankfully here in the state of Wyoming, we haven't had one yet. And you have to say yet with how unknown this kind of disease is and what it does, what it triggers, and how deadly it can be. But again, it is deadly. It is deadly, and again, right now it is. Folks out there that were early on complaining about, hey, why cancel spring sports? Hey, why no state tournament for basketball? Why this? Why that? In a large perspective, after a couple weeks of here we are under this quarantine and seeing what it is doing to families that have been affected by this, where again, it's all the way from celebrities. It's been from we've seen younger generations, or at least my age group and on younger. That again, it's a small percentage. Without a doubt, but again, it shouldn't have happened though. That these are kind of those premature quote unquote deaths where it shouldn't have happened though. If life was a different way without this virus or this disease, whatever, again with COVID-19.
Well,
but again, it's a situation right now with my mind of how it's processing with sports. Yes, it's a nice outlet to get away and put your mind off of what is going on.
And even the President of the United States says, hey, we need to get back outdoors. We need to return and restart. And that includes baseball. And again, he's hoping that the National Football League will not be affected by all of this as well, too. So, again, we can only keep our fingers crossed. All right, we are going to take a timeout. We're going to try to Skype with our next guest, he being Cody Tucker of 7220sports.com. He's coming up after this here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk today. It is our pleasure again to talk with Cody Tucker, president of 7220sports.com. Cody, always good to have you back. I guess Nick can see you and you can see him, and that's good enough for me. That works in our high-tech world. Hey, you know, Cody, I'm going to start out the show with you to be on a sad note. And matter of fact, I read the story about John and Kathy Brent, and I'm sure John might remember me, might not remember me. I was telling Nick, I go back when Nick's mom and myself ate at John's place called the Cellar downtown at 16th and in KRAE way back when, and I know they tried to revive the out at the golf course in Kimball. They tried to get the restaurant up and running there. John just kind of basically split himself 3 different ways, but they did settle down in Pine Bluffs with a Rock Ranch Grill first, then took over the 307 Cafe. And to read your story, I was just heartbroken, because this is a couple that really put their heart and soul into their businesses everywhere and they were successful everywhere they were at.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to hear you talking about the Cellar. A lot of people don't remember the Cellar, and they have O'Brien's Tavern as well.
I'm an old guy. I've been around for a while.
Yeah, they had the Cellar when I was probably about 10, 11 years old, and feels like we've been in Pine Bluffs forever. And, yeah, they did the golf course thing out in Kimball for a while and found out that was just too seasonal. Pine Bluffs has been so good to my family, and we've driven back and forth every day forever, it seems, 20 years now. And it just came to a crashing halt, man. And it's just it's hard to deal with, and I don't think my parents have even had a chance to mourn it yet. They just don't even. Everybody's just kind of in a daze right now. So thanks for saying that. I appreciate it.
Well, let's talk about you during this very unique time in our history. And again, obviously, I'm the old codger here of the group, but boy, I don't know what kind of sports we can talk about right now. There's just. Unless we want to talk about the Giants losing to the Marlins in 2003 last night on MLB. I mean, there's not much to talk about.
Well, I'll tell you, the Cowboys Cowboys basketball just got a verbal commitment from Marcus Williams out of Houston. He's from Dickinson, he's from Dickinson, Texas, down there, and where Andre Ware went to high school. Big pickup for Jeff Linder and the Cowboys. I know he was committed to Northern Colorado, and he just about 2 minutes ago committed to the Cowboys and put it on Twitter. So there's something to talk about. Jeff Linder seems to be doing all the right things over in Laramie.
Well, let's get your thoughts on that Jeff Linder hire over there at UW again, as we knew that it was past the Allen Edwards, at least era. Names were tossed out to be the new head man there at Laramie for the Cowboys program, but it was named Jeff Linder, who has been developing. He's been a part of the Mountain West with Boise State, developing UNC down there and really into a phenomenal outfit there in men's basketball in the Big Sky Conference, now being a part of the University of Wyoming, where he's got a few road wins against the Cowboys there in the AA, so he knows how to win in the Dome of Doom. But what are your thoughts on that Jeff Linder hire, of what he can do for the Cowboy basketball program?
Well, when they first hired him, guys, and they were talking about, getting the guy from UNC, that didn't seem real sexy to me, not doing any homework. That didn't seem sexy enough to me. I thought the Cowboys needed a way bigger hire than that. I don't know about names who I would say they needed, but I thought they needed a sexier name than that. But after really looking into Linder, man, the guy's got it going on. I think Boise State led the Mountain West in scoring 5 of his 6 years up there and finished second once. Northern Colorado's been scoring like crazy, especially from behind the three-point line. They also defend, the three-point line really well. He's really done amazing things in Greeley, a place that had basically no basketball tradition aside from Tad Boyle being there for a couple of years. He just did some amazing things, and it seems like he's been pushing all the right buttons since he got here. And I even have to stop and ask myself, guys, is he really pushing all the right buttons, or has it been that bad the last few years? But I really do think he's pushing all the right buttons. I like his staff, talking to his recruits. These are guys that are recruiting to Wyoming who've never even stepped foot in the state of Wyoming. All of this is virtual. All this is over the internet like we're doing right now. This is how he's getting recruits to come to Laramie, Wyoming. So I think he's done a fantastic job so far.
Well, it is a program that kind of hit rock bottom of recent seasons. So, yeah, it's pretty much right now for the Wyoming Cowboys of nothing but looking up right now, again, under the new leadership of Jeff Linder. And also, too, it kind of sets up a new kind of border war rivalry between Laramie and now Greeley, Colorado. We're looking at Steve Smiley's at least crew down there with the Bears. They're being aggressive of moving into territory where they I saw on Twitter that a few of his assistant coaches are looking up here the Cap City of Cheyenne to get some recruits, also too looking to at least add to that Bears. So be interested to see how that kind of goes forward between UNC and the University of Wyoming, if that could be the new border war rivalry here against the Wyoming Cowboys.
Yeah, it would be nice to just see some good basketball again on the front range of the Rocky Mountains. You know, Wyoming has been the better team on the front range for years, but now Air Force's coach is coming back. I forgot it, Dale Scott, I believe is his name. He's coming back to Air Force.
Scott,
so Joe Scott. Yeah, so you know what they're not going to make any qualms about what offense they're going to run. They're going to bore you to death and try and beat you, but I think that Air Force got better. I think CSU's got a really exciting young coach as well with an exciting young nucleus. CU's been pretty good the last few years. I think Steve Smiley's an unbelievably great hire for UNC, and I think Jeff Linder's great too. I think we're going to see some good basketball on the front range here shortly.
You know, when I was talking with Coach Linder here a couple weeks back, and it kind of gives you the Ray Kinsella feel. You know, he's got to build it, and they will come because he knows. Yeah. He knows, and you know it as well, too. I mean, you couldn't start a good fight inside the arena auditorium with as many fans that did not show. And, again, here's the deal, Cody. You have to attract fans like me, the older generation, to come back. Because, again, we're the ones that will – you know, before we would brave I-80 and go, now where it's like, well, it's not really worth it. We're going to turn around and go back. So I think he's got not so much the pressure of putting that winner on the floor. He's got more of the pressure of putting more butts in the seats.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, students aren't even braving the, quarter-mile walk to the AA from the dorms. I mean, it's been that bad, and I'm with you. Like, when I-80 was closed, I got to admit this year, when I-80 was closed, it wasn't exactly a bummer. It was like, all right, well, I guess we'll watch this one on TV, darn it, because it was the same song and dance every single night. And that's what I think made the run in the Mountain West tournament so incredible, because who the hell saw that coming? I mean, we didn't see that team at all. And then after a while, it's like, why the hell weren't you starting Quan Marble forever ago? Why weren't you giving minutes to Greg Milton a long time ago? And we don't get to see that behind the scenes stuff, but to see those guys kind of pick it up there at the end, and Kenny Foster as well, and Hunter Thompson. And I think they've got some pieces, man. I really do. I think they have some pieces, and I think they're adding some nice pieces as we speak. I have a lot of people asking me about this transfer portal and how much Wyoming's losing. And, to me, they're not losing much in this transfer portal. So, the TJ Taylor, I guess, would probably be the one that sticks out to me. But, move on. It's time to move on. It's time to clean house, except for the guys who should be there. So excited to see it. I think basketball is going to be exciting in Laramie again, and I think Jeff Linder. I haven't seen this much excitement around the program since Steve McLean. Honestly, maybe the NCAA tournament run with Cheyenne, but that's about it, man. It's been slim pickings.
So we got the word here the other day that all spring sports in the state of Wyoming officially have been dropped for this year due to the COVID-19 situation.
That being high school sports.
But also, too, over at UW, what also is not happening right now, or what could have took place here a couple weeks back, was the spring game for football.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know how much contact you've had with Coach Bull, but again, Coach Bull and I, we run about that same age group, and we've seen a lot of bad things happen in our lifetime, but nothing like this. I can't even imagine what Coach Bull is trying to accomplish. And again, there's question marks all over the place when he can get together with his team.
Yeah, it's really weird, guys. I went over on a drive on Sunday to Laramie, and to see a time when it should be bustling out and the weather's great, Nobody. There's nobody there. There's nothing going on. All the parking spaces are empty. There's nobody in the crosswalks. Fraternity Row looks like a ghost town. It's really bizarre, but like we're doing right now, that's how he's communicating with his players all over the country right now. That's how they're getting a game plan put together. That's how they're getting workout routines put together. And I've been kind of interested in the athlete today is a lot different than the athlete before, right? I mean, they used to come to training camp to get in shape. It's not really like that anymore, but we might get to see that this year. I mean, these guys are, and maybe sometimes not by their own doing. I mean, these guys are stuck at home and they don't all have, gyms in their house and they can't go places. So they got to do what they got to do. So I'm kind of interested to see if some guys are showing up out of shape and what that's going to look like. And I spoke with UTEP head coach, former Wyoming coach Dana Dimmel last week, and he reiterated to me how hard it is academically to deal with this stuff over Skype and all these different things, and having to get these guys. They still have to do tutors 2 hours a day. So, they're left to their own volition to get this stuff done. And, we were college kids. We know how that works. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. It's definitely, we're going to hear some great stories. I know Garrett Krall, I talked to his dad yesterday. He moved his sister's car right out of the garage and borrowed some weights from the local high school and turned it into a gym. So we're going to hear a lot of cool stories down the line when this thing lifts.
Yeah, again, it'll be interesting to see how, again, everyone is kind of adapting, also to see what players are kind of procrastinating on some of this online learning, and again, who also, too, comes in a little out of shape into those camps as we set up for college football, potentially, where, again, it's still up in the air right now. Again, even with the NFL, college football, again, that is up to the NCAA or at least the college football committee to kind of figure that out and set up those dates. But when we talked with Tom Berman, Cody, about a week or so ago, where he was looking at UW football, or at least with the Wyoming Cowboys football season, that is going to be kind of that rebuild time for the state of Wyoming, not just for the university, but for the state as a whole to get on out and kind of celebrate life and everything. He wanted that to be that time. But as we get into, or at least we're seeing on a local level here in the state, here in the city of Cheyenne, throughout, again, kind of that economic, financial troubling, again, with the recent numbers of unemployment. Everyone's getting affected by this, and we'll see how big of a ripple effect this is going to be throughout the entire nation. But my question to you, or at least what I'm asking you, Cody, about UW athletics right now is, let's look to the financials of how big of effect, how big of a ripple effect is this going to be for Cowboy football, for Cowboy basketball, for other athletics here at the University of Wyoming, for folks who, last year could afford a season ticket package, but maybe this year, due to the fact of the financial troubles, may not be able to head over to Laramie and buy those packages.
That's a good point, Nick. I mean, that's something that I really haven't thought about. Knowing that Berman took a 20% pay cut and things like that, I assume the ticket prices are not going to go up. They may have already. I'm not 100%, but I would assume those are not going to go up. And I would assume he's been really good under his leadership about having military discounts, family discounts, to at least get somebody to a game to where they have so much fun, hopefully, that the next time they're going to scrounge up and they're going to get to the game no matter what it takes. But, I've had a lot of people ask me, honestly, do you think there's going to be a football season? Yeah, I mean, I do. I think even if it starts in January, there's going to be a football season. Alabama can't even take the hit of missing an entire football season. It just can't happen. So I think no matter what, they're going to try like hell to get a football season in, no matter when it starts, where it starts, if it's a, shortened schedule, whatever it takes. But that's a great point, Nick, and I wish I had a better answer for you. But it's real. It's real. I mean, it's real for people in our industry. Not only is there no sports, but do you think people are buying advertising right now? It's not really happening. So it's kind of tough for all of us right now. And, and I hate to talk about that from 72-20 standpoint, but it's reality, man. It hurts. And, I'm definitely looking into stuff myself for a small business because it's just, that's the way things are going nowadays. You call people and ask for advertising, it's almost laughable, and I don't blame them because what are they supposed to do? They're hawking burgers out the front door. So it's a weird world we're living in, and man, I hope it's gone as soon as possible.
It's interesting. You go look at the old history books. with UW. I think the 1 year back was early 1900s. The season was canceled due to a flu epidemic, and then I remember, was it a couple seasons ago when Boise State was at War Memorial Stadium? We had all that smoke there. I thought that was the worst thing that could possibly happen during the football season. But yeah, just thinking that no football is not going to happen. But I believe in Tom, where he said, yeah, we're going to get that restart, and hopefully that will re-energize the state. But looking at the Wyoming Cowboys programs, and again, Nick made a very good point too. Look at the monies that were not generated, especially from NCAA tournament, when we had a couple of teams that were in the tournament, which would have been Utah State and San Diego State. Again, everybody gets a piece of that pie, and San Diego State, probably the better of the teams, might have gone a little further in there. I just can't even fathom the dollars right now that Laramie, in addition to even the local high school districts, are going to just suffer, and even our JUCO systems as well. There's going to be a lot of dollars that are going to be lost.
Yeah, and I couldn't help, guys, but think about that when I was in Laramie the other day. That's 13,000 students that are no longer in Laramie as we speak. That's brutal, and it leads to empty. I mean, the whole town is empty. These places are hurting so badly. That's a great point too about San Diego State and Utah State. I guess I hadn't given much thought to that as well. Once they canceled March Madness, that's kind of when I started taking stuff for real. They don't cancel March Madness for the hell of it. So that's a great point. That's a big miss too. A lot of people have talked about missing the spring sports as well. I don't know the exact numbers, but I can imagine that that's not that big of a hit, because those aren't money producing sports. Plus, it costs a lot of money to put on track meets and stuff of that nature. But and nothing against those guys too. I feel horrible for them, and especially the 5 wrestlers who were supposed to go on to nationals. But it's weird, and it's just going to everybody's going to have to adapt. Like Coach Linder is always saying, you adapt or die, basically. So this is just something else. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And, if it was up to Mike Gundy, we'd be at practice right now. So, we can wish.
Mike Gundy down there saying, hey, the state of Oklahoma needs its players. We need some sort of source of revenue down there, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon for the Cowboys.
To interrupt you, Nick, and you mentioned it too, Cody, Alabama, even Nebraska, those spring games that they have, these are played before sellout crowds.
Yes, they are.
And again, they make money off those games. Imagine the hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars that are being lost by those Power 5 schools as well.
Yeah, they just, nobody can afford to take the hit of football season. There's no doubt about it. It's too big. I mean, it's and TV and all that's where the money comes from anyway, right? So no TV, no money, no fans, no nothing. I mean, it's just they're going to play football unless something takes a complete turn for the worse and something crazy happens. I don't see any way that football does not get played. And imagine even if it does start in January, that'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? I think Wyoming might have a little bit more of a home field advantage if we start in January.
Be a nice, interesting start of the season where you have the likes of Nevada or Hawaii come out to Laramie and, it's snowing all of a sudden to start out game number 1 here of the 2020 season. But at least now regarding football, or at least, again, going back to UW athletics in general, where we talked with Tom Berman and we asked him about the pool situation out there at UW, where, again, they have a non-NCAA regulation pool out there for, again, to hold meets out there, and they were trying to go to the state legislature for money, and again, that bill was denied about a month ago, but again, it was kind of pre all the economic kind of collapsing around the nation. But again, UW athletics always needs money. It always needs some sort of revenue, again, for this upgrade, for that project, for this or that. But what I want to get your thoughts on, Cody, is what kind of came out recently in the past couple of weeks, where we had 2 figures over there at the University of Wyoming that kind of stepped up out of every college in the nation that kind of took a rise, took a stand. That being one, Tom Berman, athletic director, and also 2, head coach Craig Bull, that donated or at least put their own monies and funds toward UW athletics in some way, shape, or form. what's kind of your thoughts on those two stepping up for that university, taking their own money out of their own pockets and investing it back into that institution and being leaders, not necessarily at the University of Wyoming, not necessarily in the Mountain West, but just for college athletics in general?
Oh, it was super important. The NCAA, I think their heart was in the right spot when they said, "Yeah, let's let the seniors come back." But they obviously didn't think it through very well, because who's gonna pick up that bill? And obviously, Tom Berman, being in the spot he knew who was picking up that bill, and he stepped up. To his credit, I saw some moron on Twitter say, "Oh wow, a millionaire just gave up 20% of his 20% of his money. Big deal." And millionaire, what? But anyway, it was huge, and to have Craig Bull and his family do the same thing, I think a lot of people will follow suit. As far as you kind of hope it's a ripple effect, and you hope people, there's a lot of people in the state that still have money, and you hope that maybe, and the Cowboy Joe Club is the biggest booster club in the Mountain West Conference. They give a lot of money. They do a lot of things. And I really saw that when I broke down Jeff Lender's contract. I mean, they pay half of his contract, the Cowboy Joe Club. I mean, that's big time, because if it was just Wyoming paying the coach, it's not very much. You probably don't even get Jeff Lender to come to Laramie for that amount. So I guess you kind of hope there's a ripple effect, and you hope some people who do have the money and the people who have got through this, kind of unscathed, they can maybe follow the lead a little bit here, which Wyoming fans have been known to do for a long time. So, swimming pool's a lot of money, though. That's a lot of money. And the money goes to football and basketball. That's just the way it is. But you hope there's a donor out there maybe somewhere that has some deep pockets that'll throw some money at the swim program.
Well, one thing's for sure, at least Craig Bull showed us after getting that $100,000 for defeating Mizzou. He went right back to the university. So you got to tip your cap to the head coach. Hey, Cody, it's always fun to talk to you. I wish there was more stuff to talk about, but like you said, it's pretty barren over there in Laramie right now, and I'm hoping summer camp will be able to kick off as normal here the first week of August. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, again, we should be coming out of this. Our governor has us at least pretty much shut down statewide till the end of April. I'm venturing we might sneak into mid-May, but are we still, if we did go to mid-May, could we still be on track for summer camp?
I think so, and that's interesting too. That's obviously way up in the air, but they got to get those 15 practices in. Air Force already had their 15 practices. I believe they're the only Mountain West school that did get their complete slate done. CSU, I believe, was stopped in the middle in New Mexico as well, but they have to get those 15 practices. So it'll be interesting to see if it becomes a 2-a-day, 3-a-day kind of thing, crash course before the season. And the one good thing about it, guys, is the Cowboys, along with probably every other team in America, are healthy as can be right now. So you almost kind of hate to see an extended, tough, training camp right before the season starts. Some Junction Boys stuff where some guys are getting hurt and guys are just, going extra. So I would love to see something happen in May, June, something before Mountain West Media Days at the end of July would be great. But at this point, I think they would be happy to do it whenever, however, just get us back to Laramie. Let's get this thing going. Let's play ball. Let's be around our buddies and get back to normal.
Well, Cody, we know that you're on the tough side of the fence like we are right now. And again, extend my I don't want to use the word sympathy, but again, my heartfelt loss to John and Kathy too, because again, they were a very classy couple, and again, put out wonderful products over the years, and they're going to be sorely missed. And I can tell you, I have a buddy of mine who he and his wife would go over once a week for those delicious hamburgers that they had over there at the Rock Ranch Grill. Hey, that tells you something. You go 40 miles for a delicious burger. That says it all. The quality of the product that you had over there. Hey,
yeah, I appreciate that a lot.
All right, Cody, keep your head above water. I know I'm going to try to keep my head above water. Nick's got something.
I was going to say, before we let you go, Cody, though, as again, we've been kind of promoting out small businesses here in the city of Cheyenne, whether it is, all the way from food to, we shouted out Rocky Mountain Gun Trader today of, hey, these businesses are still open. Here's how to help out the local guy. We'll do the same for you as well, too, Cody, here. That's why we kind of also, too, brought you on today, where I caught a little bit of your live stream talking about, hey, advertisers. Again, we we feel it here on 1480 KRAE, KYLY, where it's happening. It's affecting us as well, too, in the media biz of, again, it's just you survive and adapt. But wanted to give you this opportunity, Cody, to kind of talk to folks out there who are tuned in that may not know 7220 Sports or know about it and want to help you out. But for those folks who may have a little deeper pockets that could at least help you out, Cody, what are kind of those options for folks to kind of reach out to you, support 7220 Sports, to support or at least kind of help you out during these times?
Well, I appreciate that a lot, guys. That means a lot, and it's cool that you guys are doing that. We, like you guys, we're, for the most part, we're strictly advertisement driven. That's the way we get to practice every Tuesday. Press conference every Tuesday. That's how we get on the road and go to games. And honestly, like we're talking about, there's no sports right now, but I tell people a lot that, I don't recall ever winning any awards when it was actually covering a game. It's covering people, and it's covering athletes and the stories outside of the game. And that's kind of where it hurts right now, is that we're not, we need that advertising money to go talk to a gym kick and go to Miami and spend a few days with a gym kick and, go to talk to Finis Dimbo in San Antonio and things like that. And as you guys know, you can do stuff over the phone, but it's so much more, you can feel it so much more in the writing and the reading when somebody's face to face with somebody. So that's a big deal for us. We're totally ad driven. We don't ever want to have to charge fans. And of course, that's something we're talking about right now, is going behind the paywall, which I hate. So, we have advertising packages, and anybody who has a business out there would be happy to send you over some advertising rates. We feel like our rates are really super reasonable. And like you guys, we try to really pump the people who support us. We try to really pump them, and we don't just say, hey, 2 doors down, we're not going to come eat there, or, go eat there when we don't go eat there. We go there too. So it's a big deal for us, just like you. We're the little guy. We're in a small town, small state. We got to do what we got to do. So I really appreciate you guys doing that, and that means a lot.
All right, Cody, well, you keep in touch with us as we will do with you. And again, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Do appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Cody Tucker joining us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Take a time out. We are going to catch up with our next guest, and that is another Cody, this being Cody Beers. He is the Wyoming American Legion baseball commissioner. We're going to chat with him coming up in a few minutes. We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk today as we are live streaming once again on YouTube and Periscope via Twitter. Also want to, you were talking about, the virus and stuff here, looking at how many cases. I just had this pop up on my site here. 239 cases have been reported here in the state of Wyoming, Nick. So, again, for a population base of 530,000 and no deaths, and that's the most important thing to report, that nobody has died from this, and we're seeing more recoveries. So that has to give some glimmer of hope. And again, as being selfish from a sports side, gosh, you would hope that, hey, we're going to pretty soon get that, hey, we can have 25 guys in a dugout or 15 guys in a dugout, and we can play ball.
We'll see
in Laramie County.
Well, we'll see. And again, as try to avoid talking about at least the number of cases, again, whether it's here in the state, here in the county, here in the city, whatever it may be. Again, as we're trying to be an outlet to not think about those things here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. But, again, hopefully we'll be able to. Again,
but it's a part of our life
it's
now.
It's in April. Well, it doesn't need to be. It really, at least, or at least – not in a bad way, as you kind of set me up for that one. But
I'm not setting you up.
But again, it is something where, it's obviously every minute, every second of the day right now. Every day you are bombarded by it, but folks still need an outlet away from it. Just that 1 hour, 2 hours, whether it's through us, whether it's through some other avenue, whether it was those folks watching the virtual March Madness live streams throughout the entire month of March and a little bit of April. Again, that's what our goal should be, where, again, yes, we can't talk a whole lot on the sports side, but it is something to kind of get a break away from it and just talk about the future, or at least the what ifs, or kind of look towards the optimistic future of, yes, what is sports going to look like, past the all clear? What is baseball going to look like, whether it is on the professional level, same with also too here in the Legion side, where, again, if you did not see, again, it was recent news. I think we passed along briefly on Tuesday's show, but for the Legion Baseball Association, again, national committee about Legion Baseball, canceling the national tournament, the regional tournaments, one regional tournament that was happening up in Gillette at Rough Rider Stadium. Again, those all have been canceled. They're not postponed. So what does that mean for Legion Baseball here in the state of Wyoming for Cheyenne Post 6?
Hopefully get that answer
for the Laramie Rangers, absolutely. Again, hopefully from Commissioner Cody Beers, where he's optimistic. He's been optimistic on the social media side, basically saying, yes, we're going to have baseball here at a point in time. We will have a state tournament, and that's about it. Obviously, again, you can't compete on the national level, but maybe we can get a filling out process from him. We were also hoping to get that kind of idea from Lain of what the possibilities were for Cheyenne Post 6. But again, due to technical difficulties, we weren't able to get him on earlier, but hopefully we'll get him on next week possibly to get that all squared away.
But I want you to think back to January when we were with the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles and we were down in Arizona and we went to watch Phoenix and the New York Knicks. When are we going to get again, this has to be a national thing too. When are we going to be able to sit in an auditorium, sit by each other, and have a popcorn and a soda pop and a hot dog? When are we going to be able to go to Coors Field and peanuts and hot dogs?
I think that question is probably sooner than later. But I think the main question about this, it was kind of brought up of for human interaction. Those who were either affected, those who now have become kind of those germaphobes because of this, who are now constantly washing their hands, or, again, those who hoarded the toilet paper, hoarded hand sanitizer, have done all this. And, again, I don't blame you if you're doing that. Again, that's up to you. That's what you believe in, and that's how you want to be healthy. Go right ahead if it's working for you. But I think the real question right now for sporting events in general is, what are crowds going to look like? How are teams going to set this up? Are folks going to go out to these pro games?
Are they going to wear masks
to get packed in? Yeah, without a doubt. Again, will they wear masks? Will people want to be packed in, close, tight-knit to others? Where after this pandemic, we're used to 6 feet separation, no handshakes. Again, that kind of lack of human contact. You wonder. It's more so of a question of, how do you get that restarted in the minds of folks out there that are used to what has been live for about a month and a half, that will now go 2 months, 3 months, who knows how long? How do you kind of restart that mentally for those folks, especially there in New York City where you've been confined? You know, I'm not going to say the word brainwashed, but you've been kind of told of, hey, no human contact. And you wonder how many of those folks are now kind of at least worrisome of going to a Rangers game or going to a Yankees game. I don't want to be packed in that tight-knit crowd and potentially catch.
And think about after the game, how you always you go through the line and shake hands. You know that? I mean, you're talking
players?
Well, just talking.
I'm talking fans.
I know, but
fans that are going to go
any type of contact. I mean, it's a different world right now, and we got to get out of that different world. Like I said, we won't be normal again like we were prior to this, but if we can restart and rebuild, and hopefully things will change for the better. That's all we can hope for.
Yeah.
We are getting ready to move into hour number 2, which will be a shortened hour with just Cody Beers joining us. And we do want to thank, again, our fine sponsors. We want to thank Pepsi of Cheyenne. I'm just going to go to them first because we don't have a scoreboard to report. Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Again, Joe offering delicious takeout. So, again, just go pony up to the window or give them a call. They'll take good care of you there over at Mondello's. First Tier Banks across the street, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, 632-3500 if you need to do some business inside. Lennox Auto Body, again, shortened hours, 10 until 2, Monday through Friday at the 1020 Dunn Avenue address, where they're still doing all of the operations, repairs, and painting. But give them a call if you need an estimate, whatever the case may be, or want to get over to the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard, 634-6608. B&B Appliance and TV at 714 Central Avenue. Again, you can go in for the Maytags, the Whirlpools, the GE, the Frigidairs of the world, or you can go next door to the repairs shop, and if you need some service done, they'll take good care of you over at B&B Appliance and TV at 714 Central Avenue. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs with your doctor's prescription. Again, head inside. Yes, you can go inside. Again, go through the social distancing as well. They also have a convenient drive-through for you, open Monday through Saturday. Chick-fil-A, Windmill, and Del Range, 2 convenient drive-throughs right across from Powers Field and Menards. Again, also doing the curbside and takeout. You can use the Chick-fil-A app to get your orders in advance. And again, they're serving up 3 delicious squares, breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Chick-fil-A. Platte Valley Bank, 2 banking locations for you. The original location on Vandehigh. And, of course, they have their east side location at the corner of College and Pershing. Again, convenient drive-thrus. You can also call and do your business inside if you need to do some business inside as well. Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Stop on by. You can go inside there. They're sanitizing the joint every hour. Also, plenty of hand sanitizer available as well. If you want to do business face-to-face, you can also do business online at Kia of Cheyenne. Matter of fact, something new, especially with your trade-ins, because they do want you traded. And, again, sight unseen, what they're going to do is they're just going to give you the Kelly Blue Book value of your vehicle if you decide to do all your business online. And matter of fact, you can check out their great inventory online as well. For more information, get a hold of Kia at 775-0123 and talk to my good friend AJ and the crew over at Kia of Cheyenne. And also, too, we want to thank Taco John's of Cheyenne. It's Taco Tuesday going on right now. Great promotion over at Taco John's, South Greeley Highway. Again,
Taco Tuesday on a Thursday?
Taco Tuesday. Check out and listen to the ad over at Taco John's of Cheyenne, South Greeley Highway, at Pershing and Ridge, at Del Range and Ridge, downtown on Cary, and on Yellowstone Road. And again, all convenient drive-thrus for you at Taco John's of Cheyenne. Our next guest, Cody Beers, joining us in a little bit here on Wyoming Sports Talk today.
If you're looking for fun and adventure, Kia of Cheyenne is the place to start, and the 2019 Kia Sorento will help you find it. I'm AJ Miller, and the 2019 Kia Sorento will give you what you need to make things happen. This vehicle has plenty of power, all-season traction, safety features, technology, and comfort for any road you're on. The Kia Sorento offers plenty of standard features for the money, and we're all about saving you money. Come in, call 775-0123, or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
college. It's filled with classrooms, instructors, and exams. But beyond that, it's filled with curiosity, budding friendships, insightful conversations, and so many opportunities. There will be people like you, and you, and you. You'll work, you'll play, you'll struggle, and you'll succeed. But when you allow yourself to pursue your dreams, you'll learn what you're truly made of.
Wyoming Sports Talk today. We check in with our next guest. You are seeing him via Skype, Nick. We are talking with Wyoming American Legion Baseball Commissioner Cody Beers. Cody, thank you so much for joining us again. Larry Proetti and Nick Proetti here on Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. It's a beautiful day in Wyoming.
Yes, it's baseball weather, but we'll get into that here in just a little bit.
I was going to say, it's almost perfect time to head out to Powers Field right now, go see a post-6, at least Legion baseball game, but due to the at least situation here in the world, unfortunately everything has been postponed, but Cody, we brought you on due to the fact that of recent news and something that you've kind of posted on social media side as well too. But we'll go to the national side of things with American Legion Baseball saying of recent that the national tournament and also to the regional tournaments, that including the one that was happening or at least supposed to happen up in Gillette at Rough Rider Stadium, have been canceled. They're not being postponed. They're not going to be played at all again for this season. They are done. What are kind of your thoughts on that? Again, that cancellation on the national side for Legion Baseball, those tournaments, those prestigious tournaments, just not even postponed, just outright canceled.
Well, bottom line, guys, it's about the health of our players, their families, our fans, and American Legion veterans all over the country. So the decision was made just because from what I'm being told by Legion, they believe that the situation in the East is about 2 months ahead of where we're at now. We're hearing different things from our health officials and Governor Mark Gordon, but it's all about the health of our country and our players. And of course, we've been seeing the many closures going on all across the country, but we're still hoping to have a Wyoming season. We're sorry about the regional getting canceled in Gillette, but I've made a pitch to our National Baseball Americanism Committee to allow Gillette to host next year. They had already applied for a second year to host in 2021, so we're hoping that they will host in 2021 and 2022, the regional tournament. That's one of 8 regionals in the country. The other part of this is that the A regional, which is our smaller schools in Wyoming, Cheyenne Post 6 A team is part of that, the younger kids with Post 6. That tournament on Tuesday was voted on by myself and the other 5 regional state chairmen. It's the only regional in Class A baseball in the country. This year it was slated to be in Anchorage, Alaska. We decided that the logistics of getting 6 teams to Alaska was going to be difficult. And so we have decided to host the NW card, it's called, in Alaska in 2021.
Cody, again, I want to be the guy that looks at the glass half full with our governor, who, again, basically not shutting down everything but schools, not being in session until after April 30th. Everything will all be, again, reassessed. Again, he's leaving it up into individual communities for the total shutdown. Some businesses have closed down. So the bottom line is it up to the governor here that is going to probably make your decision for Legion Baseball, or are you going to try to hang on to this as long as we can? Let's just say, for argument's sake, the governor comes on at the end of the month and says, hey, we're looking at mid-May to try to restart here in Wyoming. Is that still a good sign to get baseball being played here in the state?
Yes, it is a good sign. If even if we have to get an early June start, we want a season. Our coaches have expressed that to me, and I support what they're about. I mean, we are hoping, and we want to give our young people and their parents and our boards and our fans hope that there will be a summer baseball season in Wyoming, and that we will crown state champions in August. We may be able to play until, about the 15th of August with our state tournaments. And if we're allowed to get back on the fields by, even the 1st of June, we will have a probably about a 10 calendar day period where we will 10 to 14 days where we will have to get our teams ready, get the rest of our paperwork in line, our rosters put in, and make sure that everybody's got everything ready to go. Their arms are in shape, as good as can be expected. And, we'll play baseball. And that's our hope in 2020 is to salvage a shortened baseball season. It may end up being a Wyoming-only in-state season. We don't know that yet. It's going to depend on travel restrictions. It's going to depend on a lot of things, whether other states are playing or not, or whether we're able to. I mean, we're not going to take the field if it's not safe. And so, a lot of things are up in the air right now. We don't have drop-dead dates in this. I mean, that's been the number one question by media over the last 3 or 4 days. And I guess what I'd tell you guys is we're just kind of sitting back. We're following, what Governor Gordon and the state health officers are telling us and the rest of Wyoming. That's the most important thing right now is that we get our state healthy again and we keep people healthy, including my parents and, your parents and your grandparents, the people who are important to all of us. And that's about it. I mean, we're going to prepare the paperwork side of the season and be ready to roll if we get the thumbs up. And, my day job involves working for Governor Gordon, and I think he's been a good leader in this whole issue, and so we're going to abide by his orders and the health department's wishes at this point.
What's kind of the minimum right now for at least a start of American Legion baseball here in the state of Wyoming? If it's all clear after the end of April, or if it kind of extends out, I mean, basically what I'm asking you, Cody, is there minimum requirements for baseball games where we look towards the pros, whether it is baseball, NBA, NHL, where they've kind of tossed out the idea of, hey, we'll put our athletes out there, but it's going to be in front of no fans. It's just going to be, again, those players will be out in those fields, and that's just going to be it. That's the only interaction that those players will have. Could that be a situation for Legion baseball in the state of Wyoming, or are you trying to get it to a point where fans, parents can all attend these games, and that's the only reason why, or the only way we would have Legion baseball here in 2020?
Obviously, all those scenarios are on the table, guys, and we haven't talked the logistics of that. The best case scenario is our ballparks are open. They're full of fans. They're enjoying baseball because we're the only game in town since the 1A, 2A basketball tournament. It's crazy stuff. We're only about a month into this, and it feels like a year. And, the thing that worries me too is that our main streets in Wyoming are like Sunday mornings. They're quiet. It's a weird time. I work on the road a little bit for the state of Wyoming, and I'm considered an essential employee, so I'm out there doing my thing. And every community in our state is on lockdown as much as possible. People are still going to the grocery store and doing what they have to do, but for the most part, people in Wyoming are doing a very good job of staying inside and slowing this thing down a little bit. So hopefully we can get back to life quicker than some other places in the country. And with that, we can play some baseball.
So expand upon it, or at least not to cut you off across the way, Pops, but again, if Nebraska, South Dakota, Montana, Idaho, some of those states that are around us where, again, they're showing kind of those low, at least, infection rates, low death rates, where they're also too kind of on par with Wyoming of trying to get back into the swing of things as soon as possible, and they might be able to after that all clear after April 30th. But could there be a possibility that teams, for instance, again, Cheyenne Post 6, that is kind of down here tucked away close to the Colorado border, that goes south most of the time for those tournaments, but could there be a possibility that you would see Rapid City come on down and be a part of the Wyoming kind of state, at least play, or teams from the Panhandle in Nebraska, Montana, Idaho? Could there be those possibilities that some of our post-Legion teams in this state have that out-of-state competition this season if those other states are kind of on the same par as the state of Wyoming?
Well, I think that possibility exists for sure, but it'll depend on, again, what happens as far as, this curve of this COVID-19 and what the governors in those states and what the state health officials say is okay, because we want to keep our programs safe and healthy, and we want to do our thing. Now, what I've seen already is that our coaches are already talking about the idea of maybe having a kind of a mythical 8-team regional in mid-August after we have state tournaments. I think that's extremely, extremely optimistic at this point. And I guess my goal right now is to get teams back out on their fields practicing and preparing for a season. If we get to that point, then I think we can talk logistics. But, the biggest question I've got right now is if we do get the okay to kind of get back to normal in our lives in Wyoming after April 30th, are we going to be able to get into our facilities? Will the city of Cheyenne open Powers Field? Will some of the schools that belong on school facilities, like Jackson, will the Jackson School District allow that facility to be reopened? The same thing in Douglas. Casper plays on a city facility. Gillette, I believe that's a city facility, but will the University of Wyoming allow the city of Laramie to open Cowboy Field? We don't know those answers yet, so those are still bridges to be crossed in this kind of weird entrance into a baseball season. So we've got some time. We need people to continue to be healthy, and we need to be optimistic moving ahead.
Sounds like you'll be busy working the phones there. Hopefully that Governor Gordon will give us the okay after April 30th. Cody, real quick here, and again, we're talking with Cody Beers, Wyoming American Legion Baseball Commissioner. Are you going to be the one that sets the schedule for the Wyoming teams? So, and again, just throw an argument out here. Laramie comes in for a weekend set, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. How are you? Again, are you setting it up, or are you going to let the coaches work out the logistics of trying to play baseball?
Well, the coaches, they're going to take some input from me, but for the most part, they've got to play a conference schedule so that we can seed those teams into a state tournament at the AA level. We've got 8 teams that play AA baseball in Wyoming, and so they've got to they're going to have to do some rescheduling, and I'm going to see those schedules, and I would guess we'll follow somewhat the same format that we set in our December state meeting. They'll have to play each other on that rotating schedule that we set up last year. So they'll play. The A teams will be playing. I'm hopeful that we can still have some B and C teams that are involved, because development is very important in our Legion baseball program. But what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to set some hard and fast state tournaments, whether we play district and state at the A level, and then set those dates and make sure those host towns can fit that in, which right now they're not doing much. So I'm guessing if we're healthy, we'll play those state tournaments somewhere around the 10th to 15th of August timeframe. I'm not optimistic that we're going to be able to get some sort of a regional tournament where we bring in a bunch of teams from other states. I think there's a possibility that we could play a 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5 series in Montana, kind of a mini World Series between Wyoming and Montana. I've already talked to their state chairman about that. But as far as the logistics of an 8-team tournament for a regional, that would be tough. I think we'll be celebrating if we're able to hand trophies to a Wyoming state champion in August.
My final question for you, Cody. Again, we appreciate you joining us today on Wyoming Sports Talk today, talking about American Legion baseball here in the state of Wyoming. But let's focus at our border here in the state of Wyoming, where, again, we'll focus on Wyoming is able to play baseball, that we get the AOK. Those cities' facilities are open here at Powers, up there in Casper, Gillette, throughout the entire state of Wyoming. But again, it's relegated to Wyoming teams. Now, we know here in the city of Cheyenne, Casper as well, too, and a few other, at least, cities here in this state of Wyoming have, outside of Legion baseball, other baseball teams. For instance, here in the city of Cheyenne, we have Triple Crown Wyoming. Up there in Casper, they have the Crush, part of Connie Mack. Could there be an opening, an option for those out-of-Legion League teams to join and be a part of those schedules for Post 6 for the Laramie Rangers? Could that be an option for those to kind of add more teams, add more dates, more variety here in the state of Wyoming as we kind of adapt with this kind of new style of Legion baseball?
Well, we don't have a new style, guys, but the Casper Crush have joined American Legion Baseball as the A team in the Casper Oilers program, and they have had extensive meetings throughout the winter. I was part of some of that discussion, and we've got a unified Casper baseball program now. As far as bringing in some of these other types of baseball to play our Wyoming teams inside Wyoming, my first answer would be no. We're American Legion Baseball. We are the premier league in Wyoming, and we would want our American Legion baseball teams inside the state of Wyoming to be playing only Legion baseball clubs. Now, if there was an opportunity for Post 6 to go to a tournament in Fort Collins, they are able to do that through filling out some paperwork and letting me know what they're doing. I approve it, and I would allow them to do that. But as far as bringing a team to Powers Field to play a non-American Legion team, that would be difficult inside the state of Wyoming because we have had a long-held rule where we don't allow that.
Well, Cody, we want to thank you so much. Very enlightening. And, again, fingers crossed that the American Legion baseball program, again, very successful program here in the state of Wyoming, is able to get off and running here, and again, as you mentioned with Governor Gordon, and I mentioned too, the governor has been right at the front here. He's been on top of things, and again, very well respected in all of his decisions thus far. And again, I know he wants us to restart our state as well, and I'm hoping we can get baseball up and going again.
Guys, in the meantime, thank you. And kids, get out, have a catch, get a ball on a tee, start hitting it around. Stay active, but keep socially distanced as much as you can. Hey, I'm excited. Let's play baseball in 2020. We've got to have hope, right? Or there's not much left. So you guys have a happy Easter, and let's play ball.
Happy Easter to you, too. Thanks so much. Cody Beer is joining us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. We do appreciate that. Again, joining Nick via Skype, as you had a chance to chat with Cody, or looking right at him. Yeah. I'm looking at the back of the laptop here.
Well, again, as we're trying to do at least interactive, more visual side with Wyoming Sports Talk.
We're going to get back here on our side. We're going to get the equipment taken care of. Okay,
I like this version. I like that.
I
could
don't
see,
really. I like being on the radio side as well too. We need
that's true.
We need to have the radio side.
Who knows? We might have both as well. But
Well,
for the time being,
on a
again,
daily basis.
Skype has kind of been the way. And again, it's a new opportunity. It's a new outreach. Again, a new venture for Wyoming Sports Talk today, especially on the social media side, whether it is viewing on Periscope via Twitter and the 1480 KRAE YouTube channel. So again, appreciate all that did join us. Again, Cody Tucker and Cody Beers, as we just saw. Apologies for Lain. Again, the phone issue for whatever reason. Again, the phone app that is on this laptop was not working today, so hopefully we'll be able to get him at some point in time down the road to talk about Post 6 and the Post 6 Sixers, of what their thoughts are, what they're looking into, how their schedule might be set up, and again, what the future is for that program here in 2020.
Well, you got to think back, too, with Post 6 that they lost the Bash this year because of that's a big fundraiser for them.
They technically did lose the Bash, but again, it's been postponed. We'll see if they also too set that up for some point in time before that season gets underway, where again we are in that all clear. Hey, let's get folks out there to get that
but
fundraising.
Also too, as we get it again, prior to the Bash being postponed, the community was in a different frame of mind. Things are changed now. So again, there's a lot of intangibles that are going to be going on. Once again we get that all, and I don't want to use the word all clear, but that return and that restart, a lot of people are going to have to look into their checkbooks to see where they're financially at to do a lot of things as well.
Well, and again, want to at least briefly, as you're wanting to wrap things up here, I get it, but I want to just quickly talk about where it might set up for next week, where hopefully we'll talk with someone out of Triple Crown, Wyoming, where again, that is the new venture, former Cheyenne Mustangs of Connie Mack, now moving into the Triple Crown Association, where again, they're not part of American Legion, but still here in the state of Wyoming, competing here in the city of Cheyenne.
They need teams to play.
Well, again, that's why I wanted to ask Cody about that. Where could they look over the rules and allow Triple Crown to come in?
And you got an emphatic no on that.
Yeah, again, that's kind of a sad situation. Where at least again, surprised that you couldn't break the rules on that.
Well, interesting.
More the merrier.
How about the Crush though? They decide.
Because they were the only lone Connie Mack team that was left after Cheyenne Mustangs went into that Triple Crown Association. So, again, where you had Casper Crush taking on Cheyenne Mustangs as your in-state at least opponent for Connie Mack before they went out and did whatever. But it made sense for them kind of travel-wise, logistics of, just join that American Legion, kind of dissolve into it and just be a part of that flowing system.
With Triple Crown right now, too, most of that activity for the Cheyenne team is basically in Colorado.
Well, yeah, Colorado.
So,
again, they go out. They go out of state. Again, the Mustangs, even part of Connie Mack, had to go out of state because that's where the Connie Mack teams were south of the border there in Colorado. So it would be interesting, and hopefully we'll be able to get a hold of again folks from there, whether it is Sheldon Baxter or again other representatives of the Triple Crown Wyoming, to talk about what is going on with that baseball team. What are they looking into to possibly play some baseball as well too, since they can't join American Legion.
And here's the tough part too in Colorado, just from my own personal knowledge. Again, with Governor Polis down there, I mean, basically it's stay at home now. They'll look at it at the end of April, but they're probably looking at mid-May. And again, when you're talking mid-May, Nick, you're talking about maybe letting people back on facilities. Because again, similar to here, all schools, all parks, recs, they're all closed
and
now.
We have two teams that are going to be obviously have a close eye on what's happening down in the state of Colorado that play a good amount of it. Well, again, all three. I would say all three again with Post 6, but
the extreme,
absolutely, they're necessary. They're at least they have a need to play down in Colorado. Granted, now with the move into high school softball here in the state of Wyoming, we're seeing teams sprout up where they can play a little bit more here in the state. That might be a little bit more relaxed, but it's primarily right now for Triple Crown Wyoming of they got no one else here to play in the state of Wyoming. They got to go down to Colorado to face other teams, be a part of those tournaments. What's kind of the option now?
Well, looking back at the conversation we had with Adam Galicia the other day and just listening to Cody Beers, you're not going to have a 60, 70 game schedule this year.
No.
If you get 30 games in, and I'm going to throw a top mark of 40. I think then we're doing pretty good. But again, it is all up to this curve. Are we into that downslide yet? And again, you got to make sure it's, according to the experts that I've been watching, you got to make sure that curve is a steady curve downward before the governors are in touch with Washington, D.C. every day. And again, it's up to those folks right now. They're the ones making the call, along with the health departments here in our state and around our region. So hopefully, things are going to start turning back in favor for us to get out. Because again, I think, and you said it earlier in the program, people are out and about walking and jogging and
if you didn't
like
know
Cody said,
it,
hitting a ball.
Well, again, if you didn't know it out and about in this city, where again looking at our parks, looking at downtown, just looking out throughout the city, again all the cars. You'd figure it was normal life here.
Downtown is pretty barren down there, pal.
Well,
I've been down there.
All right, but I mean more so of just car traffic. Where you see the likes of Las Vegas, New York City.
There are a lot of folks that are working, and again in with the retail industry. And we mentioned it here, and we mentioned over on our sister station as well. Again, all of these folks that are putting the effort to.
And again, I'm not saying that in a bad light of that. Again, it looks like normal life is still happening in Cheyenne. That's a good thing. That's a good thing that it still looks like things are
wanting it to happen.
Yeah.
We're wanting it to get back to that semblance of what we had prior to this virus. And again, hopefully the governor steps up to the podium here at the end of the month and says, let's try it. Let's slow but sure get back into what we used to do.
Well, again, you got to make sure that you have every county, every city on board. Where again, right now you have a few counties. Again,
you got Teton County.
Teton
Jackson,
that's stay at home.
They're shut down.
Yeah.
So and they have a few less than we do. As far as total confirmed cases, I think they have 50 up there, where we have 56 in Laramie County. But again, we're 100,000 people in this county as well. Do you have an on this date in history?
I don't.
Okay, I see. Last time
I had it last time. I don't this time.
All right. Well, we want to wrap things up again. Thank you to Cody Beers. Do appreciate him joining us most recently. Wyoming American Legion baseball commissioner. He wants baseball. We want baseball, and I'm sure Post 6 wants baseball as well. Both the Sixers and the Hawks. Mm-hmm. We also want to thank Cody Tucker from 7220sports.com joining us again. Our apologies that we couldn't get Ty Lain on. We will get Ty on. He's been a very special guest of ours for a long time here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. So for Nick Proetti, and I guess we will talk to you sometime next week. We want to wish you and your family.
I think this is not a bad format of Tuesday, Thursdays. Again, it's not a 5-day thing. I don't think 5 days.
We're not ready for it yet.
Yeah, it is not necessary to again try to drudge up 5 days, 2 hours of worth of content that may just be us repeating ourselves or again talking about the past. Again, I'm not about it right now. Again, let's look towards the future. Let's see what it is post COVID-19, what the sports world is going to like. That at least look like. That's my more interest. So again, not going to bombard you with 5 days of content. No. Instead, I think the 2 days or Tuesday, Thursday content, or at least format that we have right now, is good enough.
But I wanted to take this opportunity on behalf of my son and myself to wish you and your family a very happy Easter. I want to wish my daughter and my son-in-law a very happy Easter. Hopefully they might be just casually tuning in Alaska. They may not have anything better to do than watch her brother and her pop doing Wyoming Sports Talk.
I don't think they had anything better to do before all this up there.
Well, at least they're safe and healthy, and that's all we can say to you two. Stay healthy, be well, and have a happy Easter. For Nick Proetti, I'm Larry Proetti.